I just wanted to surprise my daughter by arriving unannounced. But when I entered the house, reality hit harder than I could have imagined. My daughter was crying in the living room, and her husband was laughing loudly in the kitchen, as if he didn't care. At that moment, I decided to go in and do something that would make him regret ever being born. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you are listening in the comments. The lawn needed mowing. I noticed that first, pulling up to the house on Windsor Road. Beatrice always kept it neat. Now the grass pushed past her ankles, at least 2 weeks of growth. The front door was unlocked. I pushed it open slowly. The living room hit me like a stage accident. Beatrice sat curled on the couch, tissue scattered around her like confetti after a bad show. When she saw me, her face crumpled further. She tried to cover her left wrist with her right hand, but I'd already seen the bruise, purple-green, at least 3 days old. Laughter came from the kitchen, loud. The kind of false laughter that sounds like bad opera, completely tone-deaf to the actual situation. I walked toward the sound. Ezra sat at the kitchen table with his parents, surrounded by papers and glasses of amber liquid. My Macallan, the $150 bottle I'd given him last Christmas. At least they had good taste in my money. 3 seconds. I stood in the doorway and let them keep laughing. Theater training, observe before you act. Trevor's watch caught the light when he gestured. Rolex. Probably cost more than Beatrice's car. Funny how people with money problems always have expensive watches. Oh, you're here. Ezra leaned back in his chair, one arm draped over the backrest. He didn't stand up. I am. Trevor smiled, polished, professional. Sterling, what a surprise. We're just discussing some home improvements. Family business, you understand. I said nothing. My eyes moved to the papers spread across the table. Blueprints, cost estimates. I read upside down, old skill from stage managing. It's really not a good time for, Sabrina started. We're making plans for the house. Ezra's voice had that edge, the one that said he owned the space. Bringing it up to standard. This is her house. Our house. She's my wife. Trevor jumped in, smooth as oil. Actually, Sterling, perfect timing. We could use your input. Beatrice wants to renovate, new kitchen, expand the master, maybe add a pool. High-end neighborhood like this, property values, you understand? Smart investment. $280,000. I'd read the total at the bottom of the estimate. You read fast? Yes, well, quality costs money. You don't mind investing in your daughter's future, do you? After all, you bought her this place. Might as well make it worth something. Sabrina laughed, light, dismissive. Trevor, don't pressure him. Though honestly, Sterling, the house is looking a bit tired. Needs updating. I walked past them toward the living room. Hey, I'm talking to you. Ezra's chair scraped. Beatrice, get your things. Excuse me? You don't walk into my house and... I picked up her purse from the floor. Your house? I handed it to her. Let's go, honey. She stood unsteadily. I draped her jacket over her shoulders. Now, wait just a minute. We're not finished discussing... Trevor rose from his chair. I opened the front door, guided Beatrice through. How rude! Beatrice, darling, you're not really leaving with... Sabrina's voice followed us. Bae, stay here. We need to talk about this. Ezra appeared in the doorway. I helped Beatrice into the passenger seat. My phone buzzed. Thaddeus. Dad, you land okay? How's B? Through the front window, I saw Ezra on his phone. Trevor appeared next to him, gesturing, making plans already. I started the engine. We'll be in touch about the renovation estimate, Trevor called from the doorway. I pulled away from the curb. In the rearview mirror, all 3 of them stood watching. Beatrice cried quietly beside me. Her phone buzzed. Again. My hands gripped the steering wheel. The renovation papers. I'd photographed them while they weren't watching. Muscle memory from memorizing stage notes quickly. I'm sorry. Beatrice's voice was barely a whisper. I'm so sorry. I didn't know where I was driving yet, just away. I drove through Austin traffic and missed a turn. Had to U-turn at the next light. Not local, not focused. Beatrice stared out the window, wiping tears with her sleeve. Her phone buzzed again. She silenced it without looking. Where can we go? I asked. Somewhere quiet. I don't know. I'm sorry. Stop apologizing. Just tell me where. There's Mozart's Coffee, on the lake. I used to go there before. Her voice broke. Mozart's, okay. Long silence. The phone buzzed again. Ezra calling. You don't have to answer that. She silenced it. He'll be angry. Let him be angry. I parked in the lot overlooking Lake Austin around 3. Opened her door. She waited for me to do it. We walked to the patio. Warm spring evening. Other people scattered around tables, but not crowded. At the counter I ordered black coffee. What do you want? She stared at the menu like it was written in Japanese. Whatever. I ordered her a latte and a blueberry muffin. Worst case, she doesn't drink it. We sat at a table near the railing, water view. She wrapped both hands around the coffee cup, even though it was 78 degrees outside. Tears dripped into the latte. She tore a napkin into tiny pieces. Tell me what happened. It started slow. He just suggests things, who I should see, what I should wear. Then he took over the bank account, said he was better with money. When? Maybe 2 years ago? I don't know. It all blurs together. I set my cup down. It rattled slightly. The bruise on your wrist. She pulled her sleeve down. I was leaving for the store and he grabbed you. She cried harder. He says I make him crazy, that I'm always doing things wrong. His parents say I'm ungrateful. The house is too good for me. I should be happy. Maybe they're... Stop. She wiped her face. He's not a bad person, Dad. He's just under a lot of stress at work. The pressure. I'm under stress. I drove 9 hours today. Notice I'm not grabbing anyone? She almost smiled. That's different. Is it? I'm stressed. I'm not a dictator. Funny how that works. She actually laughed. Small, then cried again. I don't know what to do. You're going to let me handle it. I asked more questions, took notes on my phone, typed rapidly with one hand. When did this start? What exactly did he say? Who pays the mortgage? Ezra handles all that. He says it's easier if... Whose name is on the deed? Mine. You made sure of that when we bought it. But Ezra wants to add his name for legal reasons, and his parents keep saying, no, that's not happening. They say if something happens to me, he'll lose everything, that I'm being selfish. My jaw tightened. Something happens to you? That's what they said? She nodded. I breathed slowly through my nose. Stage technique. Control the emotion before it controls you. At 5, I stood. I need to make a call. I walked to the railing overlooking the water. Dialed Thaddeus. Thad, it's worse than I thought. He listened, asked questions. No physical evidence, bruises and psychological. He's isolated her completely. He said something about flying down. Tomorrow, good, book it. I'll text you hotel info. More questions about my plan. No, not just getting her out. I'm going to take everything from him, methodically. He asked how. I spent 30 years making actors look like heroes and villains on stage. Time to direct a different kind of show. 20-minute call. At one point I ran my hand through my hair. Rare gesture, losing composure. When I came back to the table, something had shifted. Decision made. I got Beatrice checked into a Marriott on Lake Austin. Separate room for her. She showered, rested. I sat in the lobby until the light under her door went dark around 8. Then I drove back to the house. Lights on. I parked down the street this time, approached quietly. Front door still unlocked, TV blaring inside. Ezra sprawled on the couch, mouth open, empty whiskey glass on the floor. Snoring like a chainsaw hitting a nail. Some stress. Poor guy needed expensive whiskey and a nap to cope. I moved through the house like checking blocking for a stage set. Kitchen first. Photographed the documents with my phone. Used the flash. Didn't care. He wouldn't wake. Found a stack of mail. Credit card statement on top. I flipped it open. Eagle Pass Casino. $4,000 last month. $3,000 the month before. Either he was extremely lucky or extremely stupid. The balance suggested stupid. I photographed that too. Laptop open on the counter. Email visible. From Trevor to Sabrina. Once the house is refinanced, we can access the equity. E's debts covered, plus our own situation resolved. Sterling's an idiot. He'll never see it coming. I took 3 photos of that screen, left the front door unlocked exactly as I'd found it. Back at the hotel, I booked my own room. Sat on the bed at 11:17, spread the phone photos across the screen. Renovation estimate, $280,000. Credit cards, $45,000 in casino charges over 6 months. Trevor's email, proof of conspiracy. I opened my notes app, started typing. Act 1, establish control. Act 2, dismantle their foundation. Act 3, public revelation. I stared at the screen, didn't know Act 2 specifics yet, but I directed 53 plays in my career. I knew how to build to a climax. Tomorrow, Thaddeus arrives. Tomorrow, we start building the set. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. This is Trevor Simmons. We should talk. Coffee tomorrow, 10 a.m., Starbucks on West 6th. I read it twice. They were trying to control the narrative already. Fast. I didn't reply. Not yet. Outside, Lake Austin glittered with moonlight. Somewhere across town, Ezra was sleeping off his drunk. Tomorrow he'd wake up and think everything was fine. I set my phone down. The document spread across the hotel bedspread like blocking notes for a stage set. I knew exactly where to start. I arrived at the airport 40 minutes early, bought coffee I didn't drink, watched passengers emerge from security like actors taking their marks. Thaddeus appeared with just a backpack and a hard case equipment bag. We hugged briefly. My hand lingered on his shoulder longer than usual. Flight okay? Fine. 3 hours of thinking about what you told me. And I brought everything I thought we'd need. Cameras, mics, hard drives. Also my lockpick set. I almost smiled. You have a lockpick set? You'd be surprised what I have. I raised you well. So what's first? First we set up base camp. Then I need you to make me look 75. The rental apartment in Hyde Park was sparse. 2 bedrooms, small living room, furniture that came with the lease. We pushed the dining table against the wall, set up his laptops and external monitors. I pinned my handwritten notes to the wall with tape. Old school meets new school. Thaddeus set up charging stations like he was building a command center. Neither of us mentioned how long this might take. Thursday morning, I stood in the bathroom trying on a gray wig from a theater supply store. Adjusted thick black framed glasses with clear lenses. Changed my posture in the mirror, slumped shoulders, slight shuffle. Thaddeus watched from the doorway. That's actually creepy, Dad. That's the point. I turned left and right, checking angles. 30 years designing character makeup. I can make myself look like anyone between 65 and death. He shook his head, but he was smiling. Friday. I followed Ezra from the dealership on South Lamar. Premier auto sales, glass windows reflecting the morning sun. I parked across the street with a long lens camera from my theater prop collection. Used to take production stills. Now I was documenting a different kind of performance. Ezra arrived at 9:17, left for lunch at 12:30, returned at 1:45. I watched him interact with customers through the windows. Fake smile, aggressive gestures. One customer walked away shaking his head. I followed him to 3 different banks in one afternoon. Either money laundering or serious trust issues about which ATM to use. Based on what I'd seen in those credit card statements, probably just terrible at managing money. Saturday evening, Ezra's truck headed west on Highway 71. I stayed 3 cars back, felt ridiculous, learned this from the detective shows. But it worked. Eagle Pass Casino appeared against the darkening sky. Neon lights, tribal gaming facility. Ezra walked in like he owned the place. I waited 10 minutes, entered, searched the floor until I found him at a blackjack table, 500 in chips already in play. Positioned myself at a slot machine 20 feet away. Didn't play. Just watched his reflection in the mirrored column. He doubled down aggressively. Lost. Bought more chips. 1,000 more. The dealer's face stayed neutral. Ezra's jaw clenched. Sweat on his forehead despite the air conditioning. Lost that too. Went to the ATM. Returned with 1,500 in chips. Over 2 hours, I watched him lose $3,000 total. His hands shook when he finally stood up from the table. I photographed everything discreetly with my phone. I'd been sitting at that slot machine for 90 minutes without playing a single spin. The security guard was large, 50s, eyes that had seen everything. "Sir, you've been sitting there a while without playing. You okay?" My mind raced. His eyes flicked toward Ezra's departing back, then back to me. He knew I'd been watching. I slurred my words. "What? Oh yeah, I was gonna play, but my wife, she texted," fumbled with my phone, nearly dropped it, caught it. "She's in the buffet or somewhere. I stood unsteadily, grabbed the chair back for support. "We're supposed to meet." His expression shifted, just another confused tourist. "You need me to call you a cab, sir?" No, I'll find her. She's here. The hotel down the road. The one with the thing." He barely suppressed a smile. "La Quinta? That's the one." I shuffled away, maintaining the drunk act until I was outside. Sat in my car for 10 minutes afterward, hands trembling on the steering wheel. That was too close, too confident, too stupid. Back at the apartment near midnight, Thaddeus looked up from his laptop. That was stupid. Security guard noticed me watching Ezra. I had to pretend I was drunk. Did it work? This time, but I can't go back there. He'll remember my face. "So you got one night of casino observation." "He lost $3,000 in 2 hours. That's enough." "Jesus. Now tell me you had better luck than I did." He turned his laptop toward me. "Dad, come look at this." Email on screen, from Trevor to Sabrina, sent 3 weeks ago. From Trevor, simmonsicmail.com. Subject, S opportunity. "The old man's house is paid off. He mentioned it at Christmas. If we can get him to invest in renovations, he won't say no to B. Then we refinance for the improvements plus equity extraction. E's gambling debts cleared, our mortgage caught up, everyone wins. S won't understand the paperwork if we're careful." I read it twice, 3 times. 10 seconds of silence. "There's more," Thaddeus said. 8 more emails planning this. "Download all of them." "Already done. Want to see the worst one?" He scrolled through the threads. Text messages between Ezra and Trevor, between Trevor and Sabrina. Their mortgage payment was 90 days past due. One message stopped me. Sabrina to Trevor, "I can't lose this house. My mother's picture is in every room. It's all I have left of her." Trevor's response, "I know. We won't lose it. I promise." I stared at the screen. "They're scared." Thaddeus looked up. "Does that matter?" "No. But it explains why they were this desperate." I sat back. Scared people are more dangerous. For 3 seconds, I saw them differently. Elderly couple facing financial ruin, grasping at anything. Then I remembered Beatrice's bruised wrist. The moment passed. Sunday evening, we sat at the table surrounded by printed emails, photographs, timeline notes pinned to the wall. Thaddeus's laptop showed a folder containing 127 email messages. "We have proof of financial manipulation, psychological abuse, conspiracy to commit fraud." More than enough for a divorce attorney. "No, not yet." He looked up. "Why not?" "Because Ezra doesn't know we have this. If we file now, we show our hand. He lawyers up, his parents lawyer up, everything becomes he said, she said. So what's the play? We let them keep digging, more evidence, more recordings. Then we hit them when they think they've won. That's risky. What if Ezra?" My phone rang. Both of us froze. Screen showed Beatrice calling. I answered. "Honey?" Her voice shook. "Dad, Ezra just texted me. He says if I don't come home by tomorrow, he's filing a missing person report. He says he'll tell police you kidnapped me." My hand tightened on the phone. Across the table, Thaddeus leaned forward, mouthing, "Speaker?" I switched it. "Beatrice, listen to me." He's copied his parents on the message. Trevor's responding now, saying they'll support the police report. "Dad, what do I do?" Thaddeus was already typing, reading the intercepted message thread. "Dad, they're serious. Trevor's drafting a statement. Beatrice, stay exactly where you are. Don't respond to them. I'm calling a lawyer. We're moving up the timeline." I ended the call. The plan just changed. We had less time than I thought. I called Tanya Rodriguez's emergency line. Got voicemail. "This is Sterling Brooks. My son-in-law is threatening to file a false missing person report against me. I need consultation first thing Monday." Thaddeus and I sat at that table until 2 a.m, drafting response strategies. My coffee went cold 3 times. Monday at 9, Beatrice and I arrived at the office building on Congress Avenue. 6th floor, modern waiting room, art prints, other clients scattered around. Tanya emerged, petite woman, short hair, sharp eyes, power suit. Her handshake meant business. Conference room overlooked the street. I spread printed emails across the table. She read with a neutral face, but her eyebrows rose occasionally. Made notes on a legal pad. Tapped her pen against it when thinking. Rapid rhythm. Stopped at Trevor's email about me not understanding paperwork. This is fraud conspiracy. Good. She examined the casino photos. Gambling addiction supports domestic instability. Then the photo of Beatrice's bruise. Did you file a police report? Beatrice shook her head. We'll address that. Tanya stood, paced, pointed at documents for emphasis. Let's be clear about what we can prove versus what we can't. Financial manipulation, yes. Gambling problem, yes. Conspiracy to commit fraud, yes. These emails are damning. Physical abuse. She looked at the bruise photo. One incident, not enough for a restraining order yet. What do we need? Pattern, multiple incidents, ideally recorded. Texas is one-party consent state. Beatrice can record conversations with Ezra legally. I can't hold a recorder while he's not handheld. Home security camera, recording device, something ambient. Already working on that. Tanya gave me a sharp look. You are? My son's technical. We can have something installed by tomorrow. I don't need details, but if you get recordings, they need to be legally obtained. One-party consent means Beatrice must be present in the house when recordings happen. She'll be there. Dad, I can't go back. You can, and you will. For 2 weeks, we need evidence. Beatrice looked terrified. Tanya sat back down. Beatrice, I know it's hard, but without pattern of abuse, we're just looking at bad marriage, nasty divorce. With pattern, we get restraining order, potential criminal charges, complete advantage. Your choice. Tuesday afternoon, Beatrice entered the house, hands shaking, using her key. Ezra was at work. We'd checked his schedule. Thaddeus walked her through installation by phone. Remove old thermostat, 4 wires, yellow, red, white, green. Match them to new one. 20 minutes. She texted him a photo of the finished installation. He replied, Perfect, system active, get out. She grabbed clothes from the closet, toiletries from the bathroom, looked at the living room where I'd found her crying 2 weeks ago, locked the door behind her. That evening, Ezra came home, called her about the new thermostat. I listened to the live feed on my laptop. What's this new thermostat? Beatrice rehearsed. Smart thermostat. Saves energy. My dad got it. Suspicious pause. How much does it save? I don't know. I didn't check. You bought a smart thermostat and didn't check the savings? He was interrogating her about electricity costs while plotting to steal a house. The man's priorities were fascinating. Then his voice changed. Where have you been? You disappeared for 3 days. I needed space. Space? From what? I'm your husband. You don't get to just leave. His voice rose. Beatrice started crying. The recording captured everything. For 2 weeks, that thermostat recorded everything. Ezra screaming about groceries, about dishes, about Beatrice's clothes, her friends, her father. Trevor visiting to discuss strategy. Phone calls to bookies about gambling debts. Night after night, I sat with headphones, listening to every word, my hands clenched, jaw tight. Thaddeus watched me, worried. Dad, we don't both need to listen to these. I removed the headphones, stared at the wall. I need to hear all of it, every word. Second week, Thaddeus ran a property record search, Travis County database, public access. Trevor's house, original mortgage $380,000 in 2004, current balance $120,000. Payment history showed regular until 2024, then missed payments starting March. 90-day delinquency notice in June, foreclosure filing in August. Dad, look at this timeline. They started planning the renovation scam right when they fell behind on their mortgage. Desperate people. 1 week later, Tanya's office. We played recordings for her on the laptop. Ezra's voice, You're so stupid sometimes, Beatrice. I told you to buy the expensive bread, not the store brand. Are you incapable of following simple instructions? Beatrice crying. I'm sorry, I thought. You thought? You don't think. That's your problem. Tanya stopped playback. Your son-in-law has a gift, real talent. For what? Self-destruction. This is textbook verbal abuse. Every word is evidence. How many hours of this do we have? 42 hours over 12 days. Jesus, and he has no idea? None. Good. Keep collecting. The longer the pattern, the stronger our case. When we file, we bury him. Sunday evening, end of week 2. The three of us at the apartment reviewing evidence. Tanya's laptop showed organized folders. Verbal abuse, 42 hours. Financial conspiracy, 18 email threads. Gambling documentation, $47,000 in 6 months. We have enough, more than enough. File for divorce, request emergency restraining order, submit all of this to family court. Beatrice gets the house, possibly alimony, definitely full protection. No. Tanya looked at me. Excuse me? We're not filing yet. Mr. Brooks, with all respect, what are we waiting for? Every day your daughter is at risk. We're waiting for them to hang themselves completely. Right now they think they're winning. Let them think that. Let them make more mistakes. Dad, Tanya's right. We have what we need. We have enough for Beatrice to get out safely. We don't have enough to destroy them. Long pause. This isn't just about protecting your daughter anymore. No, it's not. Silence. I need to be clear. If you're planning something outside the legal system, everything will be legal, but I want them to lose more than this case. I want them to lose everything. That's not really how divorce law. I'm not talking about divorce law. My phone buzzed. Text from unknown number. Sterling, this is Trevor Simmons. Time we talked face to face. Coffee tomorrow, 10 a.m., Starbucks on West 6th, come alone. I showed them. Don't go, Tanya said. It's a trap or intimidation tactic. I'm going. Not alone you're not. Yes, alone, because I want to see his face when he tries to manipulate me. I want to watch him perform. Tanya leaned forward. If you go, wear a wire. Texas is one-party consent. Record everything. I smiled for the first time in 2 weeks. Now you're thinking like theater. I stood, walked to the wall covered in timeline notes, pointed to the section marked Act 2. Trevor wants a meeting. He'll try to threaten me, maybe offer a deal. He has no idea I know about the foreclosure, the gambling, all of it. Tomorrow, I start phase 2, which is, I stop watching, I start performing, and I make sure they're all watching me. Outside, Austin settled into night. Across town, in 3 different locations, Ezra, Trevor, and Sabrina slept peacefully. Their last peaceful night for a long time. I pulled down the timeline from the wall, picked up a red marker, wrote at the top, Phase 2, Psychological Warfare, Monday morning. I sealed the manila envelope at the post office, block letters on the front, no return address, handed it to the clerk. Receipt said, delivery Tuesday. Back at the apartment, Thaddeus tracked Ezra's phone on his laptop. Tuesday morning, the location dot stopped moving at the dealership. Stayed still for 20 minutes. Unusual, Ezra normally moved around the sales floor constantly. Then rapid movement to the parking lot. Phone call to Trevor's number. 27 minutes. Thaddeus looked up. Phase 1 working. Keep watching. Tuesday afternoon, I sat in my rental car across from Premier Auto Sales. Binoculars trained on the glass windows. Marcus Webb walked in at 2:15, exactly on time. Former cop, now private investigator. Theater colleague in Houston owed me a favor, made the introduction. I'd briefed Marcus like directing an actor. You're investigating gambling debts. Speak loud enough for my son-in-law to overhear. Make it official, but not threatening. You're just doing a job. Marcus was perfect casting, looked like a cop, sounded authoritative. He stood near Ezra's office, phone to his ear. Through the binoculars, I watched Ezra appear in his doorway. Face went white. Marcus's voice carried even outside. Yeah, surveillance photos confirmed the frequency, 3 to 4 times weekly. Total debt $45,000. Casinos cooperating with documentation. Ezra backed into his office, closed the door. Marcus ended the call, walked out, waved at me from the parking lot. Job done. I'd spent 30 years creating atmosphere on stage. Fog machines, lighting cues, sound effects to make audiences believe they were somewhere else. Now I was creating atmosphere in Ezra's life. Difference was, in theater, the audience paid to be there. Here, he was paying me to leave. Still working on that refund. Wednesday at 2 a.m, I parked down the street from the house, dressed in black. Felt ridiculous, like a bad spy movie, but it worked. Beatrice's key opened the back door silently. Inside, the house was dark. Ezra's snoring came from upstairs, rough, irregular, stressed snoring. I moved through the familiar layout. Basement stairs didn't creak. I'd tested them on previous visits. The light timer cost $12 at Home Depot. The clerk had smiled when I bought it. These are great for vacation. Makes it look like someone's home. Exactly what I need, I'd said. Make it look like someone's there when they're not. Installation took 4 minutes. Programmed random intervals. 2:30, 4:15, 5:45. Hid it behind the electrical box. Back in the car, my hands finally shook. Delayed adrenaline. Text from Thaddeus. You good? Done. The smart thermostat tracked motion and noise. Wednesday night, the data showed movement at 2:31, 2:45, 4:16, 4:30, 5:47. Almost no sleep. Thursday was the same pattern. Friday morning, an electrician visited. Found nothing wrong. Maybe old wiring, he suggested. Friday evening, Trevor's compromised phone picked up audio from his house. Ezra's voice panicked. I'm telling you, someone's in my house. Trevor trying to calm him. You're exhausted. You're seeing patterns. I saw the photos, Dad. Someone took pictures of me at the casino. Someone knows. Sabrina laughed. Actually laughed. That old fool, he can't even use a computer. 8 photos isn't coincidence. Trevor's voice dismissive. Sterling's harmless. He directed high school plays for a living. I removed my headphones, looked at Thaddeus. High school plays? You directed regionally for 30 years. They think I'm harmless. Apparently. I stood, walked to the wall, stared at the section marked Phase 2, Financial Strike. Good. Good? They underestimate me. That makes what comes next even easier. I opened Beatrice's banking app on my phone. She'd made me joint account holder for emergencies. Balance, $12,847. House value, according to Zillow, $450,000, paid off 5 years ago. Available equity, $450,000. How much can we borrow against the house? Thaddeus looked up. Dad, how much? He calculated. Depends on lender. Maybe 80% LTV. That's $360,000. And Beatrice is primary owner. I'd just be co-signing. Technically, but set up meeting with mortgage broker. Monday morning. You're taking equity out of Beatrice's house? No. I picked up the red marker. I'm taking it out of Ezra's dreams. Wrote on the wall. Monday, financial strike begins. Across Austin, Ezra sat alone in his dark house. Every noise made him jump, waiting for basement light to flicker again. He had no idea that ghosts in the basement were the least of his problems. Monday morning, Patricia Valdez reviewed our documents across her desk. Professional mortgage broker, efficient movements, manicured nails tapping her pen. So, you're looking to establish a home equity line of credit. Purpose? Family financial planning. And you'll be co-borrowing with your daughter? She's primary owner. I'm providing credit support. She looked at Beatrice. You're comfortable with this arrangement? Beatrice's practiced response. Yes. My father's helping me manage the property. Patricia examined the paperwork. Home value assessed at $450. You're requesting $150. That's conservative. Credit scores excellent both. I don't foresee issues. How quickly can this process? Application today, underwriting tomorrow, funds Wednesday. Perfect. Beatrice's voice was quiet. Dad, this is a lot of money. I squeezed her hand. Trust me. Monday night, Thaddeus compiled the email. Subject line, Employee Financial Liability Risk. Attached Ezra's credit report, casino photos, late payment notices, documentation of $45,000 in debt. Set delayed send, Tuesday 8 a.m. before Ezra arrived at work. I watched over his shoulder. Include the notice from the credit card company about collection action. He added it. Email scheduled. Done. Tuesday at 10, Ezra was called to his manager's office. Mark Patterson slid printouts across the desk. This you? The recording from Ezra's phone picked up his stammering. I can explain. $45,000 in gambling debts. This is liability to the dealership. Customers won't trust a sales guy who's desperate for commission. Denial, then admission, then it's a personal financial matter. It became dealership matter when someone emailed me evidence. You're on probation. One screw up, you're gone. Wednesday afternoon, Ezra came home early. Mail on the counter, official bank envelope. The thermostat picked up everything, paper tearing, long silence. Then his voice. What the? Phone dialing, automated system, then representative. There must be a mistake with my house. Back and forth. Then the representative. You're not listed as owner, sir. Beatrice Brooks is primary owner. She can borrow against it. But I'm her husband. That doesn't automatically grant property rights. Sound of phone hitting counter, heavy breathing, then a scream. Crash of ceramic against wall, coffee mug shattering. I listened with headphones, no satisfaction, just cold observation. The domino had fallen exactly where I'd positioned it. Thursday morning, someone pounded on my apartment door, heavy, aggressive bangs. I'd expected this. Signaled Beatrice to stay in the bedroom, opened the door slowly. Ezra's face was red, sweating, wild-eyed, 3-day beard, rumpled clothes. He tried to push past me. I didn't move. You son of a bitch! Keep your voice down. Neighbors. You stole from me. Didn't steal anything. That house belongs to my daughter. Always did. I live there. Not for much longer. He lunged. I sidestepped. Theater reflexes from decades of navigating dark backstage areas. Thaddeus appeared from the kitchen. I've got 911 ready to dial. Your choice. Ezra stopped, breathing hard. Then Beatrice appeared in the bedroom doorway, 30 feet away. Ezra saw her. His face changed, anger draining into desperation. Baby, please, tell him. We can fix this. Come home. Beatrice stared at him. 5 seconds that felt longer. Then she turned, went back to the bedroom, closed the door. Ezra's face crumpled. Leave now. His voice broke. This isn't over. Yes, it is. You just don't know it yet. I'll destroy you. You couldn't even destroy your credit rating properly. You had help with that. He stared at me, hatred mixing with defeat, then left. Thursday afternoon, Gerald Morrison's office. Trevor had called in a favor with his attorney friend. Low-rent strip mall space, past his prime lawyer. The recording from Trevor's phone captured everything. Gerald's voice. Gentlemen, Mrs. Simmons, I've reviewed your situation. And I don't see viable legal action. Trevor sputtering. That can't be right. The house is in her name. She can borrow against it. Texas is one-party consent for recordings. Without proof Sterling sent the email to your employer, you're guessing. Ezra, he's obviously isn't evidence. The consultation lasted 30 minutes. Gerald's conclusion was simple. Everything I'd done was legal. They had no case. Trevor's frustrated voice. What did you charge me to tell me nothing? Nothing? This consultation's free, because you're going to need your money for other things. Thursday evening. Thaddeus cooking dinner for the first time in weeks. Beatrice reading on the couch, almost domestic, almost peaceful. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. This is Trevor Simmons. We need to talk, face to face. Name your time and place. This has gone far enough. I showed Thaddeus. Don't go. I'm going. Beatrice looked up. Dad, he's dangerous. So am I. I typed, Mozart's coffee. Tomorrow, 2 p.m. Come alone. 3 seconds later, Trevor called. I didn't answer. Let him wait. Let him panic. I walked to the window. Austin sprawled below under evening sky. Thaddeus's voice behind me. Dad, what if they try something? They will. That's the point. What point? Let them make the next move. Let them show what they're really made of. Then we finish it. Phone buzzed. Voicemail from Trevor. Angry. Desperate. I deleted it without listening to the end. On the coffee table sat a folder marked Phase 3. Inside were documents Tanya had prepared. Restraining order request, divorce filing, criminal complaint form, and something else. Document Thaddeus printed that morning. Trevor and Sabrina's foreclosure auction notice. Public record. September 15th, 2025. Their house at 2847 Westlake Drive going to auction. Starting bid, $120,000. I stared at the address. Thaddeus noticed. Dad, what are you thinking? How much is in the HELOC account? $150,000. Why? And foreclosure auctions, cash only, correct? He realized slowly. Usually, Dad, you're not. September 15th. We'll be there. To do what? I didn't answer. just smiled, first real smile in weeks. Outside, Trevor was calling again. My phone vibrated across the table, ignored. Phase 3 was divorce and restraining orders. The process server arrived Saturday morning at 9. I was still in pajamas, first coffee. Doorbell rang. Unusual. Guests buzzed from downstairs. I opened the door. Young woman, official badge, holding an envelope. Sterling Brooks? Yes. You've been served. Handed me papers, had me sign receipt, left. I stood in the doorway, confused. Opened the envelope, heavy legal paper. In the District Court of Travis County, Texas, Trevor Simmons and Sabrina Simmons, individually and as next friends of Beatrice Brooks, Simmons, plaintiffs. My hands went still. Alienation of affection, undue influence, incompetent to manage affairs. Face went pale. I called Tanya. Sunday morning, she answered immediately. I saw the filing. Come to my office. Bring Beatrice. Tone was serious. This was bad. Sunday afternoon, papers spread across Tanya's conference table. She pointed at sections. Alienation of affection, that's BS, rarely wins. But guardianship, that's the real threat. They're arguing you, Beatrice, can't make rational decisions because Sterling has manipulated you psychologically. She pointed to a paragraph. They cite your sudden estrangement from Ezra, your unexplained absence from marital home. They're building narrative. Dutiful daughter, brainwashed by angry father. Can they win? Honestly, 5% chance, but 5% isn't zero. What do we need? Proof Beatrice is competent, making her own choices. Therapy records, employment efforts, bank statements. And we counter their expert witness, this Dr. Fletcher. Who is he? Tanya checked papers. Psychologist, testifies in family court cases. Reputation is mixed. Testifies for whoever pays him, basically. So he's a hired gun. Welcome to family court. By Wednesday, I hadn't slept more than 3 hours per night. My coffee cup rattled slightly when I set it down. Thaddeus noticed. I reread the legal papers obsessively, made notes, crossed them out, paced the apartment. Thursday evening, Thaddeus yelled from his laptop. Dad! I came running. He showed me the screen. Email from Trevor to someone named Rick. Fletcher agreed. $15,000 to his offshore account. He'll testify whatever we need. Make sure it's untraceable. I read it twice. He bribed the psychologist. Yeah, we have proof. That we obtained illegally. I sat down heavily. Fuck. There has to be a way. There isn't. If we reveal this, we admit to hacking. Everything we've built, the recordings, the evidence, all becomes inadmissible. So what do? I don't know. First time I'd admitted being lost. Always had a plan before. Friday afternoon, I drove to Mozart's alone. Sat at the same outdoor table where I'd talked with Beatrice weeks ago. Ordered coffee. Didn't drink it. Stared at the lake. Replayed the last month. The surveillance. The psychological warfare. The financial hits. Now this. Court hearing, Monday. If we lost, Beatrice became a ward of the court, possibly under Ezra's control. Everything I'd done to free her could trap her permanently. Tourist at the next table laughing. I envied that simplicity. Phone buzzed. Tanya. Meeting tomorrow, 2 p.m. to prep for hearing. I didn't respond, just sat. Returned to the parking lot later. Sat in my car. Key in the ignition, didn't start it. Phone in my hand. Could call Tanya now. Drop everything. Beatrice gets divorce, modest alimony, we leave town. Forget the revenge. Trevor wins. Ezra escapes consequences. But Beatrice stays safe. My thumb hovered over the call button. 20 minutes passed. Families walking past. Kids laughing. Simple lives. My life was a complex knot I'd tied myself. Finally started the car. Drove back to apartment. Didn't call Tanya, but came close. Closer than Thaddeus knew. That night, 11 p.m. Everyone asleep except me. Sat at the dining table, laptop open. Trevor's email about Fletcher bribery on screen. Smoking gun, proof of criminal conspiracy. Thaddeus appeared in the doorway. Dad, you can't use that. You know you can't. I know. So what do? We find another way. What other way? I stared at the screen. Trevor's words. Fletcher agreed. He'll testify whatever we need. Fletcher's the key. If Trevor bribed him via email, what else has he written? Thaddeus sat down. scrolled through Trevor's sent folder. Email to Fletcher from 3 weeks ago. Subject, consultation request. Body, Dr. Fletcher, Trevor Simmons here. Need psychological evaluation for family court matter. Specifically need testimony regarding undue influence. Timeline urgent. Your fee? Please confirm availability and discretion. Holy shit. What? He emailed Fletcher 3 weeks ago, before they even filed the guardianship motion. That's premeditation. And look, need testimony regarding undue influence. He's not asking for evaluation. He's asking for predetermined conclusion. I smiled slowly. Tanya can use that. Impeach Fletcher's credibility. Show he was hired for predetermined testimony. But how do we explain getting the email? We don't. Tanya subpoenas Fletcher's records, his communications with Trevor. If he claims privilege, she argues he's expert witness, not attorney. Communications are discoverable. That works? I don't know, but it's legal, and it might be enough. Closed the laptop. Looked at the clock. 11:47. Monday hearing was 58 hours away. Dad, what if this doesn't work? Then I'll do what I've always done. What? Improvise. I directed theater for 30 years. Half those productions, something went wrong opening night. You know what saved every show? What? The ability to adapt when the plan fails. Trevor thinks he's won because he hired an expert witness, but he's forgotten something. What? I'm better at performing than he is, and Monday, we're both going to be on stage. Outside, Austin slept. Across town, Trevor slept peacefully. He shouldn't sleep so well. The curtain rose Monday morning. 8:30. Monday morning. 4th floor courthouse hallway. Our group on the left, Tanya reviewing notes, Beatrice pale but composed, Thaddeus carrying the evidence box. Opposite side, Trevor in his last expensive suit, Sabrina overdressed, Ezra rumpled and unshaven, their attorney Gerald with a worn briefcase. Dr. Fletcher arrived at 8:45, late, arrogant entrance, shook Trevor's hand. Tanya noticed, made a note. Trevor caught my eye, smiled confidently. I didn't react, just waited. The courtroom had wood paneling, Texas flag. Judge's bench elevated, few spectators in the gallery. Judge Patricia Hendricks entered, 62, short gray hair, sharp eyes, no-nonsense demeanor. All rise. We stood. Be seated. Simmons matter, case number F2025-0843. Mr. Morrison, your petitioner. Gerald presented the alienation of affection claim, weak as expected. Then the guardianship motion. Dr. Fletcher took the witness stand, sworn in. Gerald questioned him about his credentials, PhD, years of experience. Fletcher used terms like enmeshment and vulnerable adult syndrome. He'd never actually met Beatrice. Based his evaluation on review of circumstances. Tanya objected. Witness never evaluated subject. Judge allowed testimony anyway. Expert could give opinion based on facts presented. Fletcher continued smoothly. Classic pattern, adult child manipulated by parent, sudden estrangement from spouse, irrational decisions. Ms. Brooke Simmons needs protection from controlling environment. Sounded convincing. Tanya called Beatrice to testify. She walked to the stand, hands clasped, nervous but steady. Why did you leave your husband? He was abusive, verbally, psychologically. He controlled everything, my friends, my money, my decisions. Did your father force you to leave? No, he supported my decision. I left because I couldn't live that way anymore. Gerald cross-examined harshly. But you ran to your father. I went to my father because he's my family. And he convinced you to destroy your marriage. My marriage was already destroyed. Ezra did that. Good testimony. But Fletcher's expert opinion still hung in the air. Then Tanya asked the judge for permission to present audio evidence. Gerald objected immediately. Relevance goes to petitioner's credibility and subject's competence. Judge allowed it, briefly. Tanya set up her laptop, courtroom speakers, played the first recording. Ezra's voice screaming, "You're so fucking stupid, Beatrice. Worthless. Can't do anything right." Beatrice on the recording, crying. Courtroom went silent. Judge's expression changed. Second clip, Trevor and Ezra discussing getting control of house. Sterling won't understand paperwork. Third clip, Trevor on the phone. Do whatever it takes. Bribe whoever you need. I don't give a shit. Tanya stopped playback. Courtroom frozen. Judge Hendricks stared at Trevor. Mr. Simmons, stand up. Trevor stood slowly, face drained of color. That was your voice on recording? That's out of context. Out of context? Bribe whoever you need? What's the context that makes that acceptable? You didn't mean to commit witness tampering? Or you didn't mean to get caught? She was furious. During the audio playback, Ezra had stood up, walked out of the courtroom, couldn't listen to his own voice abusing Beatrice. Through the window, I saw him sitting on a bench in the hallway, head in his hands. Judge wrote an order. I'm denying the guardianship motion. Furthermore, temporary restraining order against Ezra Simmons. No contact with Beatrice Brooks Simmons. 500 feet minimum distance. She addressed Trevor and Sabrina. I'm referring this matter to the DA's office for investigation of witness tampering. You may want to retain criminal counsel. Banged her gavel. We're adjourned. Trevor and Sabrina sat frozen. Dr. Fletcher had already slipped out. Outside on the courthouse steps, Beatrice cried with relief. It's over. He can't come near me? Tanya smiled. Temporary order for now. We'll make it permanent at divorce hearing. Thaddeus congratulated me. Dad, you did it. We did it. But I was quiet. Watching Trevor and Sabrina exit the building across the plaza, they looked destroyed. Dad, you okay? Yeah, just thinking. About what? About finishing this. Late afternoon at Mozart's Coffee, same table as before. So what's next? Thaddeus asked. Their foreclosure auction, September 15th. Tanya looked up. What about it? Their house goes to auction. Starting bid is $120,000. And we have $150,000 from the HELOC. Tanya realized slowly. You want to buy their house? At auction. Cash sale. Beatrice stared. Dad, that's justice. They tried to take your house. I'll take theirs. That's legal, Tanya said. Foreclosure auctions are public. Anyone can bid. It's also brutal, Thaddeus added. Yes. They'll have nowhere to go. They should have thought of that before trying to put you under guardianship. Tanya leaned forward. Sterling, you won. Why push further? Because they'll try again. Desperate people don't quit, but if they have nothing, no house, no leverage, they can't hurt her anymore. This is about more than protection now. Maybe, but it's also necessary. I sent everyone home, sat alone as the sun set over Lake Austin. Phone buzzed, email notification, foreclosure sale notice, 2847 Westlake Drive. Auction date, September 15th, 2025, 21 a.m. Starting. Bid, $120,000. Terms, cash only. I read it 3 times. Opened my banking app, HELOC account, $149,847. Enough. I thought about Trevor and Sabrina's faces in the courtroom. Elderly couple, scared, everything falling apart. They tried to destroy my daughter. They failed. But they'd try again. Maybe not legally. Maybe something worse. If they had nothing, no house, no assets, no leverage, they couldn't hurt Beatrice. But taking someone's home, elderly couple, that was what? Justice? Vengeance? Cruelty? I didn't know. Phone rang. Beatrice calling. Dad, where are you? We want to take you to dinner. Celebrate. I'll be there soon. You okay? You've been quiet since court. Just thinking. About what? About whether winning is enough. What do you mean? I looked at the foreclosure notice. I mean, when does it end? When are they not a threat anymore? Dad, we won. Restraining order, divorce coming, it's over. Maybe. Maybe? What else is there? Nothing. I'll see you at dinner. Ended the call. Stared at the lake. Couples walking, families, normal lives. My life stopped being normal a month ago. September 15th, 3 weeks away. I texted Thaddeus. I need you to research foreclosure auction procedures, how to bid, what's required. He replied, Why? Because I'm going to finish this. Dad, we won. What are you talking about? We won the battle. I'm talking about winning the war. Close my phone, watch the sunset. Thought about Ezra leaning against that courthouse window, broken. Trevor's white face hearing his bribery admission. Sabrina texting, We're fucked. Should feel good. Felt hollow. But I was going to that auction anyway, because somewhere between protecting my daughter and destroying her enemies, I'd become something else. I wasn't sure what. 3 weeks to decide. The lake reflected sunset, blood red on water. I drove home. 3 weeks after the courthouse, 2 weeks before the auction. Monday morning, I called Marcus Webb. Client meeting starts at 10. Serve him at 10:15. During the meeting, not after. You want me to embarrass him publicly. I want the client to see what kind of man they're doing business with. That's cold, Sterling. That's the point. $800 for the job. Marcus called me back at 10:30. It's done. Client walked out. Manager fired him on the spot. I hung up, stared at the wall, felt nothing. Tuesday morning, Thaddeus helped me create a Facebook account. Concerned neighbor. Joined the Westlake Hills group. 800 members. Trevor had been active there for years. Typed the post. FYI, Trevor and Sabrina Simmons at 2847 Westlake Drive are in foreclosure. Auction September 15th. Thought neighbors should know, given Mr. Simmons's frequent comments about property values. Public record. Added the link to county records. Thaddeus read it. This is vicious. It's factual. Public record. It's public humiliation. Yes. Dad, when does this end? When they can't hurt her anymore. They can't hurt her now. When is enough? I'll know when I get there. Clicked post, refreshed, first comment within 2 minutes. I always wondered how they afforded that house. By afternoon, 150 comments. Wednesday, Eagle Pass Casino filed suit against Ezra. $52,000 with fees and interest. Court summons delivered to Trevor's house, where Ezra was staying. Thursday, text from Thaddeus. Ezra's truck repossessed this morning. I didn't respond, just noted it. Thursday evening, Beatrice called. Dad, are you okay? Thaddeus says you're barely sleeping. I'm fine. This is almost over, right? Almost. Friday night, 11:47. I sat in the dark living room, looking out at Austin. Couldn't sleep. Too wired. Pounding on the door. Not the doorbell. Pounding. I knew who it was before opening. Walked slowly. One breath. Opened it. Ezra on the doorstep. Unshaven. Same clothes from court 3 weeks ago. Reeking of whiskey. Eyes bloodshot. Please. Voice breaking. Sterling, please. I'll do anything. Just make it stop. I didn't speak. I lost my job. My truck. I can't pay the casino. My parents won't talk to me. Beatrice won't answer. I have nothing. Good. What? You should have nothing. You gave her nothing. You took everything from her and gave nothing back. I can change. No, you can't. And even if you could, it's too late. I stepped back. You had a wife who loved you, a home, a future. You chose control over love. You chose cruelty over kindness. Now you live with those choices. Sterling, goodbye, Ezra. Closed the door. He pounded on it. Please, please. Then sobbing. I stood on the other side, hand still on the doorknob. Listened to him cry for 30 seconds. Then silence. Shuffling sounds. Walking away. I went to the window, watched him stumble to the street, get in an Uber. Taillights disappeared. I'd spent my life in theater. Best actors could cry on command. Ezra cried immediately. Method acting at its finest. But I was the director, and the show had ended. Saturday morning, Beatrice called. Ezra called me last night, 20 times. I didn't answer. Good. He left voicemails, crying, begging me to talk to you. Dad, he sounded broken. He is broken. Does that make you feel good? Long pause. No, it doesn't. Then why? Because feeling good isn't the point. Keeping you safe is the point. And broken people can't hurt you. I'm already safe. Restraining order, divorce. Legally, but desperate people do desperate things. Better he's completely destroyed than partially wounded. Dad, that's dark. Yes, it is. Are you okay? I'm tired, honey. Very tired. But I'm almost done. The foreclosure auction, that's in 2 weeks. Yes. Are you really going to buy their house? I don't know yet. You don't sound sure about anything anymore? I'm not. Later that morning, Tanya called. 7:15 a.m., unusual. I heard about Ezra showing up Friday night. Are you okay? How did you hear? Beatrice called me. She's worried about you. I'm fine. Are you? Because you've systematically destroyed 3 people's lives in 6 weeks. They destroyed themselves. Sterling, you won, restraining order, divorce filing, criminal investigation of Trevor. You don't need to buy their house. Don't I? What more can you take from them? Everything. Long pause. Listen to yourself. You sound like them. Silence. You started this to protect Beatrice. She's safe. They're destroyed. When does it end? September 15th. And then it's over. Will it be? Or will you still be looking for one more strike? I don't know. That's the first honest thing you've said in weeks. Call ended. I stared at my laptop. Property photos showed their house. Nice suburban home, well-maintained, lived in for 15 years. Could be mine. $150,000 in the bank. Easy decision legally. But was it right? Was it necessary? Or just cruelty? I thought about Ezra crying on my doorstep. I have nothing? Good. That's justice, isn't it? 14 days until the auction. 14 days to decide if I was protector or destroyer. Maybe both. Maybe neither. Outside, the city woke up. People starting normal Saturday routines. My life hadn't been normal since I found Beatrice crying. 6 weeks ago. Felt like 6 years. I was tired. Bone deep tired. The kind sleep doesn't fix, but not finished. Not yet. September 15th. Then it ended. One way or another, 3 months later. Early December. I sat on my terrace in Santa Fe, watching the desert sunrise. Cold morning, clear sky. Coffee steaming in the mug I'd used for 20 years. Home, finally. September 15th, I'd stood on the courthouse steps watching Trevor and Sabrina's house go to auction. Anonymous buyer purchased it for $185,000. Not me. I'd decided 2 days before. Enough was enough. Beatrice got divorced in October. Court awarded her the house completely. She kept it for now, though she talked about selling. Too many memories. She had a new job at a design studio. Employee of the month her first month. Dating an architect named Michael. Kind, she said. Kind mattered more than anything. I'd paid off the HELOC completely. Clean title restored. $150,000. Gone. But Beatrice's house was hers again, free and clear. Ezra worked at a car wash now. $15 an hour. Studio apartment on the east side. Paid the casino $200 monthly. Would take 22 years. Trevor and Sabrina lost the house. Moved to a rental in Cedar Park. Trevor did contract legal work from home. $40 an hour. Background checks showed the DA investigation. Damage done, even though charges were dropped. Their marriage was essentially over. Separate bedrooms, barely speaking. Everyone survived. Nobody thrived except Beatrice. Yesterday's mail sat on the table. One handwritten envelope. No return address, Austin postmark. I opened it. 3 pages in careful handwriting. From Ezra. Dear Sterling, I don't expect you to read this, but I need to write it. I was a monster. I destroyed the best thing in my life. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know I understand what I did. I'm getting help. Therapy, AA meetings, not for Beatrice, for me, so I never do this to anyone again. Thank you for saving her from me. Ezra, I read it twice, set it down, looked at the desert, didn't respond to the letter, might never respond. That was my choice. 30 minutes later, Beatrice called. Saturday morning ritual, weekly calls. Dad, guess what? Employee of the month, first month at the studio. I smiled. That's wonderful. She told me about work, about the office redesign she'd done. Her voice was lighter than 6 months ago. Energy she hadn't had. I'm thinking about selling the house. That's smart. You don't mind? You help me buy it. It's your house, your decision. I just want you happy. I am happy. For the first time in years, I'm actually happy. Pause. I'm also seeing someone. His name's Michael, architect. We met at Mozart's, same place you took me that first day. Is he kind? Very. Then I'm happy for you. We talked for 20 minutes, easy conversation, no weight, no fear. After she hung up, I sat staring at mountains. An hour later, Thaddeus called. Dad, I have news. Good news? I think so. I bought a house. In Seattle? Albuquerque. Pause. Albuquerque, New Mexico. 45 minutes from you. Close in 3 weeks. Moving in January. Why? Why? Because watching you this summer, dropping everything, driving 9 hours, spending 6 weeks fighting for Beatrice, made me realize I've been a terrible son. Living in Seattle for 10 years, seeing you twice a year. That's not enough. You haven't been. I have. You're 68, Dad. I don't want to waste time being distant anymore. My throat tightened. That's good, son. Very good. You okay? Yeah, just surprised. Good surprised? Best surprised. After he hung up, I sat on the terrace, looked at my hands, rougher than summer, age spots more visible, slight tremor. These hands had planned everything, executed everything, won everything. Eyes welled up. First tears in months, not sad. Relief, exhaustion. I'd won. Not because Ezra worked at a car wash or Trevor lost his house. Won because my son was moving closer, because my daughter was laughing again. That was victory. The rest was just theater. I went inside, picked up Ezra's letter, read it one more time, folded it carefully. Put it in my desk drawer, not trash, not filing cabinet, just drawer. Acknowledgement without response. Close the drawer. Done. Late afternoon, the sun turned the desert golden red. I sat in my chair, coffee cup empty beside me. Ezra's letter folded in my pocket. Phone buzzed. Text from Beatrice. Photo attached. Her at work, holding her certificate, smiling widely. Real smile, free smile. Wish you could see the office, Dad. Maybe you can visit? I type back. I'd like that. 3 months ago, I destroyed 3 people's lives. Did it methodically, legally, completely. Today my son was moving closer. My daughter was smiling again. The revenge was theater. Impressive show, but just a show. Family was what remained when the lights went out. Ezra would think about what he did for the rest of his life. That was his burden. I'd think about what I did too. That was mine. Difference was, I'd do it again. Not proudly, but I'd do it. Because Beatrice was laughing now. And that was the only finale that mattered. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching.